What's going on, everybody? This is Bronco Juggalo, and it is MultiPack Mania, the first one of October. And in this whole month of October, we get to choose the pack and we get to choose the movie. Now, I may still use some random numbers or a dice or something, but for this one, I did pick the movie. This is from this 10 horror movies pack, Prom Night 2, Hello, Mary Lou. Canada. Oh, Canada. Why do we let you be a country? More than that, why do we let you make horror films? Oh man, this is a universally loved horror film, it seems like, among horror fans. Completely panned by critics during its day, it has gained somewhat of a cult following since. Now, in this movie, Mary Lou, the town and high school slut in the 1950s, is the victim of a prank. Well, I don't know if victim is the right word, because she fucking deserved it. And she ends up, dying in the process. A mistake, it's a, prank gone wrong. And she is killed. Decades later, in the 1980s, she comes back to haunt the prom. Now, this is directed by Bruce Pittman and stars Michael Ironside as Bill. It also stars Lisa Schrage as Mary Lou, and I forget the other name of the other girl. Many of the characters in this movie were named after famous horror directors and horror icons. Horror people, I should say. As I said, it was panned by critics. At least how recently some critics have started giving it a little more props. I did think the film was somewhat enjoyable. It was not terrible. I don't have a lot to talk about, though. Big pro for me was Mary Lou's death. That was really good. I really enjoyed that. I thought that looked really cool. And it's really horrific, because to die by fire like that is just like, in my opinion, the worst way to go. Now, as far as cons go, the only three things that really stuck out to me was the absolute worst of 80s fashion was used in this movie. Once again, it's Canada. What do you expect? They barely got the 1980s at the end of the 1980s, almost in the 90s. If you don't believe me, watch How I Met Your Mother. I'm just fucking with you, Canada. It's funny to give you guys shit. The special effects and makeup effects in this were not bad. They were pretty decent. Until the end, when we see this big Mary Lou kind of, gross out creature, and it just looked bad. You could see the mask. You know what I mean? You could see the bottom of the mask flapping, off her skin, and it just didn't look right. But the biggest problem with this movie, and it's something that critics have cited, this movie, we'll just say, borrows, for now, very heavily from both A Nightmare on Elm Street and The Exorcist. Now, some people say that those are homages. I call it flat out ripping off. Just flat out ripping them off. Especially A Nightmare on Elm Street. This movie is nothing but a watered down Nightmare on Elm Street. It really is. Without Freddy. That's all it is. And if they put Freddy in this movie, it could be a Nightmare on Elm Street film. At least, they would have to make some changes to make it a little better, but hey. Honestly, I didn't hate Prom Night 2, but it wasn't as good as a lot of people, in my opinion, have made it out to be. I'm sorry, guys. I know you're going to not like me for that one. I'm sorry about that, guys, but that's just how I feel about it. It wasn't as good as I was hoping, but it also wasn't terrible, and there's enjoyment to be found if you just say fuck it and let it go, and, pretend that it's not ripping off Nightmare on Elm Street. Guys, that's it today for MultiPack Mania. Come back next week, see what we got then. I will finish up this franchise sooner or later. It's kind of hard to find the third one. I've been looking for it. But I will finish it up because I've done this one, I've done the remake, and I've done the original. And so far, the remake is still my favorite. Guys, this is Bronco Juggalo saying peace.